Right now, there is a good chance you have money sitting in a savings account. You put it there because it felt like the responsible thing to do. You worked hard for it, you didn't want to spend it recklessly, and a savings account felt safe. The problem is that safe and smart are not the same thing. In fact, for millions of people, a traditional savings account is one of the worst places for their money to sit right now. Not because savings accounts are inherently bad, but because inflation is quietly eating your money alive every single month, and most people have absolutely no idea it is happening. My name is Victor, and I help teach people about money, personal finance, and investing. If you are interested in improving your financial future, make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the like button if this video is helpful. Let's start with the numbers, because the numbers tell the whole story. The average traditional savings account in the United States pays an interest rate of about 0.46% per year, according to the FDIC. That means if you have $10,000 sitting in a standard savings account at your bank, you are earning roughly $46 over the course of an entire year. That's it. $46 for trusting your bank with $10,000 of your hard-earned dollars for 12 full months. Now let's look at inflation. Over the past few years, inflation has been running well above the historical average. Even as it has cooled slightly, the current inflation rate is still hovering around 3 to 4% annually. What that means in practical terms is that the purchasing power of your money is shrinking by 3 to 4% every single year. Take Victor, for example. Victor has $10,000 sitting in a traditional savings account. He feels good about it. He checks his balance every month and sees it going up slightly. What Victor does not realize is that by this time next year, $10,000 will only have the purchasing power of $9,700 because of inflation. The year after that, it drops again. And the year after that, it drops again. Victor's balance stays the same, but what that money can actually buy him keeps going down. So let's put it all together. Victor's savings account is paying him 0.46%, while inflation is reducing his purchasing power by 3% or more. That is a net loss of over 2.5% every single year. Victor is not breaking even. He is losing ground. The bank is essentially paying him $46 a year to store money that is losing $300 or more in real value. That is not saving. That is a slow leak in his financial future, and he is completely unaware it is happening. And if you have money sitting in a traditional savings account right now, the same thing is happening to you. The reason most people stick with traditional savings accounts is familiarity and comfort. Your bank sends you a statement, the number goes up slightly every month, and it feels like progress. It looks like your money is growing. But when you account for what that money can actually purchase, it is shrinking. This is one of the most common financial illusions that keeps ordinary people from building real wealth. So what should you actually do with your money instead? There are several options, and the right one depends on what that money is actually for. The first and easiest upgrade is a high-yield savings account, commonly called an HYSA. These accounts work exactly like a regular savings account. Your money is still protected by FDIC insurance up to $250,000. You can still access it whenever you need to. The only difference is the interest rate. Many online banks and financial institutions are currently offering high-yield savings accounts with interest rates between 4 and 5% annually. Victor made this switch last year. Instead of earning $46 on his $10,000, he earned $480. Same money, same account type, 10 times the return, simply because he chose a better account. There is no reason to keep your emergency fund or short-term savings in a traditional savings account when a high-yield savings account exists. The second option is a money market account. These are offered by many banks and credit unions and typically offer higher interest rates than standard savings accounts. They sometimes come with check-writing privileges and debit card access, making them a slightly more flexible option for people who want easy access to their money while still earning a better return. The third option is Treasury bonds, and specifically, I-bonds issued by the United States government. I-bonds are specifically designed to protect against inflation because their interest rate adjusts based on the current inflation rate. During periods of high inflation, they can be an excellent short to medium-term place to park money. Victor's sister put $5,000 into I-bonds during the peak inflation period and earned significantly more than she ever would have in her traditional savings account. The main limitation is that you cannot access the money for the first 12 months, and there are annual purchase limits, but for money you know you won't need immediately, they can be a smart choice. The fourth and most powerful option for money you won't need in the near term is investing in index funds. An index fund tracks the performance of a broad market index like the S&P 500, which historically has returned an average of around 10% per year over long periods of time. Victor started putting $500 a month into a low-cost index fund at age 28. By the time he turns 45, that consistent habit alone could grow to over $200,000, assuming a 10% average annual return. This is not money you want to put in the stock market if you are going to need it within the next 1 to 3 years, because markets fluctuate in the short term. But for long-term wealth building, nothing has historically outperformed a simple, low-cost index fund over time. The reason most people never make this switch comes down to inertia and a misunderstanding of risk. People assume that keeping money in a savings account is the safe choice, and putting it in anything else is risky. But what they fail to account for is the risk of doing nothing. Inflation is guaranteed. It has happened every single year for decades, and there is no reason to believe it will stop. Leaving your money in a 0.6% savings account while inflation runs at 3 or 4% is not playing it safe. It guarantees a loss in real terms. That is the risk most people never see coming. Victor used to think the same way until he actually ran the numbers and realized that doing nothing was the most expensive decision he ever made. The smartest approach is to divide your money with intention. Keep 3 to 6 months of living expenses in a high-yield savings account as your emergency fund. This money needs to be accessible, so keep it liquid, but make sure it is earning the best rate available. Any money beyond your emergency fund that you will not need within the next several years should be working harder for you in investments like index funds. The longer that money has to grow, the more powerful compound interest becomes. The bottom line is this: doing nothing is a decision. Leaving your money in a traditional savings account feels comfortable, but comfort is costing you thousands of dollars over time. Victor figured this out and made 2 simple moves. He opened a high-yield savings account and started investing consistently in index funds. Those 2 decisions alone changed the entire direction of his financial future. You can do the same thing. Open a high-yield savings account this week and move your emergency fund into it. Then take any additional savings you have and start putting them to work in a simple index fund. These 2 moves will put you significantly ahead of the average person and set your financial future on a completely different trajectory.